So, Brandon, we didn't talk about the futures bet that a lot of people have. I've heard from a lot of different people. You're out there and you listen to me regularly, or you're a client, you receive Buffalo at 17 to 1, 16, 17, 18 to 1, somewhere in there in August to win the Super Bowl. So a lot of guys have that ticket. So bet 100 to win 1,600 at least, 1,000 to win 16,000, whatever. The question is now, what do I do now that I'm here? So a little bit of depends on whether you've been hedging over the last week or so.
Mm-hmm.
Hedging means betting on the opposite team to guarantee yourself a profit no matter who wins the game. So when you have 16 or 17 times your money at risk on one bet, you can bet the opposite team to win the game to then guarantee yourself profit, or at least guarantee to yourself the ability to make money going forward if one team wins, or guaranteed instant profit if the other team wins. So here's what I would do. Here's what I will. I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't decided yet, um, but here's what I would do. You have to choose between, if I release Buffalo this week, all right, and I probably will because I'm not going to flip now. But if I release Buffalo, you have to decide, am I going to follow him and play Buffalo? This is only if you have the futures ticket. So if you have the 16 to 1 futures ticket, am I going to follow him and play Buffalo? Or am I going to not follow him on this particular game and I'm going to bet Kansas City on the money line at minus 120 or whatever? If you want to be conservative or you're a Chiefs fan, you do that. All right? Don't play Buffalo. Play the Chiefs. And I always want to, when I'm hedging, guarantee myself. If I feel like I'm on the right side of a long-term bet, I don't want to eat up as much profit as I don't want to eat up as much as I have to. So what I would do is I want to guarantee 1 unit of profit over what I bet. So if I bet $100, whether I hedged last week or didn't hedge last week, I'm going to bet enough this week to make back all of that money that I've either hedged with the previous weeks or my original bet. So let's say
Cost of the
$100
original ticket, right?
plus $100 plus 1 unit. So if it's 1,000, I bet plus 1,000. So I'm eating into that 16 to 1 profit if Buffalo wins it all, but I'm guaranteeing myself at least $100 profit for making a really smart decision back in August or September. So you have to choose. I will probably do that. Although I do like Buffalo, I think they're going to win it all, and I definitely do now that they beat Baltimore. Baltimore was a lot more scary to me than is Kansas City.
How does that change if you were in a situation like I am, to where I had a free bet that I used to win that? So does it then become, do I try to hedge back, or hedge the same philosophy? Hey, I'm going to win 1 or 2 units, or because it's free, just go ahead and just let the fates decide where this ends.
I don't like to let the fates decide if I think there's any chance, or a 50-50 chance I'm going to lose. And I would put this in that 50-50 chance range.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about turnovers for an hour now. We talked about in-game injuries. We talked about turnovers, all those things. These are evenly matched teams with an evenly matched line. So I want to I most of the time want to guarantee myself something for making a good decision in August. I understand that if it doesn't happen, it'd be different if I loved Kansas City here. All right, like if I release Kansas City, it's a different conversation for me, which rarely is going to happen this time of year, because if I'm on a bet like that, my ego won't let me flip over. But if the math just lined up and I said, by gosh, I mean, Kansas City got healthy, Worthy's back, and all these players, Hollywood Brown, all these players are back, they're absolutely the right side. And I think there's an 80% chance they win. Then if I had a free bet, or if I had one, I might let it ride, understanding I still had, because I would bet a lot of money on Kansas City in this spot. And so I would let that ride, understand that's a safety bet. But if I'm going to bet Buffalo, which I probably am, because I do think Kansas City's limited, and I do think they're, that they're playing a very well-balanced team that does protect the ball and is playing better defensively. It worries me a little bit about what was taken out of them last week in the snow and physically. I think Kansas City probably came out of their game a lot better. But that's the only time I'm going to let it ride. If I like Buffalo, if I'm going to play Buffalo, I probably want to hedge that back at least to where I make 1 unit of profit, just basically rewarding a good decision in August or September.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
I love it.
All right.
I'm also in a weird position where I have futures tickets on everybody, so I'm home free. I'm guaranteed a Super Bowl winner at this point.
So if I'm you, I make sure I try to add up all of the money that I've spent, and at
Mm-hmm.
the end, when the
Mm-hmm.
dust settles, figure out whether I've actually this has been a profitable endeavor or it's just created more happiness because I've had different prop bets going throughout the course of the season. So,
In that sense, I need Washington to win it all.
okay, well, there you go. I mean, we're going to find out. We'll have something to discuss next week for the show, that's for sure, one way or the other. So, all right, guys, happy gambling. I go get them.